Marzigliano here. I know it is like 9:06 or something, and we are 4 minutes later than our normal 2 minutes late. I am so sorry. Some Tuesdays are just crazy. Tuesdays are like our Mondays here at Grace on Broadway because we're closed on Monday. So Tuesday mornings are like our Monday mornings, and sometimes they're amazing, and every now and then we hit a couple hiccups in the road. So I apologize for being late. If you don't know me, I'll turn back around. I just had to get this. My name is Heather Marzigliano, and I am from Grace on Broadway, which is in the northeast side of Pennsylvania. I am a premier retailer for Dixie Belle at 3 locations. I've been in the Dixie Belle family since way back in 2014. And I come on here and I do lives with you guys on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. It's gonna change. We're doing a little schedule change, and it'll take a little getting used to, but what we're doing going forward is every other Tuesday we're gonna be here on Dixie Belle, and then the Tuesdays in between we're gonna be on Grace on Broadway. So this week we're here. At the end, I'll remind you to find me over there, and we'll just keep working on projects that way. So what we're doing right now is we started this piece. I posted it. I let it open for everybody to have inspiration photos. The one that won was the flamingo. No. Yeah, the flamingo. I keep trying to call it a peacock.
You got it. You're good.
I'm good.
Not a peacock.
I still second guess myself. So I chose to do flamingo to apricot to this is pink champagne down to fluff. And now we decided that these drawers are super flat. So we wanted to stencil them. And the thought was to ombre the stencil from light to dark with like these colors, since they are, why not, to add dimension. And I let you guys vote on either this stencil or this stencil. Now here's the dilemma that we were just looking at, and it's actually why we were a few seconds late. Normally I try not to like pre-plan what we're going to do live and just go for it live with you guys, because that's half the fun of it. But every now and then I try to just get my thoughts about me before we hit go live, because it just is going to work out better. And when we were fiddling around with the placement of this one, we realized in order to get placement done, the ombre will be a little bit tricky, because we're going to have to do this one in like 1, 2, 3, like in like 5 parts, in 5 sections. With this one, we can lay it on top, and it only will take 2 sections.
Solly says she likes the second one.
This one?
Yeah.
I know, I think, so I know I let it up to a vote, but can we like talk about it for 2 seconds? Because I really feel like,
I know, I think she said she liked the first one because it looked like, well, she said second, but I think she meant the first because it looks like lace, but the blending would be better on the second one.
yes.
And she's right, yeah.
She's right. So we just have to decide, do you guys want to do the lace one and we will do it in flamingo? Or do you want to do the big one and we can kind of play with colors? They all picked this one online, so I feel like they mostly want this one.
But now everyone's saying the second one. Like even Solly did say the second one, so I think I must have misunderstood.
Right.
Yeah.
So they want to do this one?
And Pam, use the one that fits best.
All right.
Amen, Pam.
Amen. Amen. I just feel bad when everybody votes and then I change it on them. But I wanted you to understand why and the thought process that goes along, because this thought process is what happens when we're creating pieces, even not live, right? You think you want one thing and you're looking at it, and then when you go to do it and it doesn't work, you have to just go with what works best. And I think that that's true in business, in life, and in lots of different places, is that if you try something that you think is going to be amazing and it doesn't start to be that way, you need to pivot and you need to change with what's going to work out.
Solly says, go easy peasy, baby. I like that too.
All right, so this one is much easier. And what we're going to do is so Margaret might have to come over this way.
I'm going to hop up.
Okay. So I took my drawers out and I laid them flat and long because it's easier than trying to stencil high. This drawer obviously has curves, so it's going to be hard to line up our stencil there. But as you can see here and here, we have straight edges, or at least whatever straight these drawers are. So we're going to use these as our guides. The stencil itself has edges here and here. I don't want a border, so I'm not going to line this up with here. Otherwise, this will be a border. We're going to line this up with the line of the stencil itself.
Where did you get the stencils? The big one in particular.
This one is a redesign with Prima stencil. It is their Royal Damask.
I think they both are, actually.
They both
right?
are,
yep.
So I'm going to come down to this side because it's where I am. And I'm lining the edge of my stencil up with the edge of my drawer. And I normally don't tape, but this is a big stencil and we're going to be doing a lot of work with it. So I am going to put a smidge of tape at the end to hold it. Once I get all my lines together. See? And it keeps moving. So this part sometimes takes a second to get us all lined in. Okay. You don't have to rub your tape like crazy. Your tape is just there to kind of hold it and make it where it doesn't wiggle as much. It doesn't have to be permanently. Just touch a tape. I just fixed it because once you start, you start. So better to double check your lines, just like your measurements. Always do those things as many times as you need because once you start painting, you're in. Oh, yay, the phone. We love when you guys call us.
Oh, it's actually a real person.
It's a real person?
Good morning, Grace on Broadway. How can I help you?
Doesn't Margaret have a great phone voice? That's her receptionist voice. It was not a real person.
Or it was bad reception on their end. There was nobody there. They'll call back in 2 seconds.
Oh, I might have thought of another option. They're going to be so crazy with me with all these options. I'm digging in my paint colors. What if we stenciled with rosé?
That'd be pretty.
That could be pretty.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll leave that as a quick option. Sorry. I change my mind a lot sometimes. Alright, so we can go pink champagne into apricot or rosé. So A and B.
So you mean one color or a blend?
Uh-huh.
Just so that we're clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or we might be able to put, let's see. No. Alright, so yes. So A, we stay the course and do these two colors just opposite themselves, or we do rosé. B. You guys have like 4 seconds to decide while I drink my coffee. Coffee's crucial. But Margaret and I have decided that we need to stay away from like super sugary, like fast food coffee, because we swear there's all sorts of extra junk in it that makes us crazy. Where are they picking A and B?
We have 1A, 1B, 1A, so 2 A's, 3 A's,
All right.
Two B's. 3 A's, 2 B's.
3 A's, 2 B's. All right, so we're going to stay the course.
What, now it's even.
Now it's
well,
even.
Scales are tipping to A.
Scales are tipping A. All right, we'll stay the course. Stay the course. Okay. So, I have my regular brushes. I have a chip brush.
Yeah, it's total even balance between A and B.
Okay. We're already painted. Regular brushes you can stencil with, but they tend to be too big sometimes, and they move a lot. So when you're pouncing, they're going to kind of want to do all this, which is great when you're painting large things, but when you're stenciling, you want tighter, more precise. So if you have a chip brush, these can work, but what you would do is kind of cut off the top part and make them short and stiff, and then you can use these. There's also stenciling brushes. This is one I've used a million times. I got it. It's just like an art stenciling brush. They come in packs of 5 for like a couple bucks, and they're all these different sizes. You can also get these from Redesign with Prima. They're the Finnabair ones. These are awesome. And they come in 3 different sizes. And they're like $7. And they're nice and stiff, and they're great. And that's what we're going to use today. So we're going to start up here. I'm just deciding where my arm is going to get the least paint, hopefully, and where I can show you guys better. This is already apricot. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with pink champagne. Now, the biggest part about stenciling is less is more. So you guys usually see me paint from my containers all the time. It's a horrible habit of mine, but I do it, so I don't hide it from you. But when I'm stenciling, is one of the times this is not the rule for me. So I always have paper towels and a paper plate. We're doing a huge area, so I'm going to start with my bigger stencil brush. Otherwise, we might be here until next week. So, there's my plate. Here's my paper. Move my hair out of my way because I'm going to be hanging over the drawer. Okay. So, you're going to take your brush. I barely tried and I got all of that. That is an insane amount to start with. That is too much. That will ruin my work. So I'm going to stamp it off till I get to about there. And even then, I'll probably hit my paper towel. Now what we're going to do, and this works on any stenciling you're going to do ever, you're going to stamp and just stipple straight down. And see how I patted this on my plate twice and on my paper towel, and we still have enough. If you put on too much paint, it's gonna bleed. If you brush, it's going to bleed. If you do this, whether you have the sticky stencils or regular stencils, you will be fine. This is appropriate stenciling. Not a lot. Stamp it out. Dab. Tiny bit. Stamp, stamp. Dab around. It's okay to go back over using thin amounts. See, and I just went back into my excess pile. I didn't even go back into the big paint.
All right, so again, the stencils come from Prima by Redesign,
yes,
right?
This is...
Or Redesigned by Prima.
Redesign with Prima, Royal Damask. Stenciling is one of the things that we will be going over quite a bit at the Bells and Bow Tour in New Jersey, which is in 1 month, which is insane. Well, like a month and like 2 or 3 days. But you're gonna get to learn how to stencil on wood and also on fabric with 2 of our teachers. Dustin Van Fleet and Fiona DeBell are gonna be doing 2 different stenciling. Stenciling is I find it to be a very important skill that I had mastered, because you can use it in so many different ways with so many different colors. You can stencil with paint, you can stencil with stain, you can stencil flat, you can do raised stenciling. There's a million different things you can do just within stenciling. You can create your own stencils, you can find stencils anywhere. So it really is a good skill to have. And we want you guys to be able to stencil with anything, not just those adhesive ones. So, I think this line that I'm looking at it from like here down is where I'm going to start to try to blend the colors together. So I'm just going to keep going the course with the apricot straight over. And then we're probably going to run out of time. So what we can do today as a special treat is when we're done here, we'll hop over to Grace and at least finish up this square of stencil for you guys. I don't usually keep going and switch, but why not? I want you guys to see the payoff of being patient with stenciling. And sometimes and I also want to be able to finish up this piece, take pictures of it already, so we're just going to get it done today. And you guys can hang out with me or watch it on the replay, but we're going to push through. I'm also going to be live later today at 3 o'clock talking about the Bells and the Bow Tour and some of our sponsors in the group World of Chalk Paint, Distress, and Decoupage. So if you're in that group, I'll be over there at 3 o'clock with a whole different project. So see, just in, stamp, not a lot. Like here you can see my brush. There's no like beady things of paint. And just stamp, stamp, stamp. The real trick to stenciling is honestly patience and less is more for your paint. And to stamp and not paint. Those 3 things will leave you with solid stencils every time. Does anyone have questions about stenciling while we're doing this? Because it's the same motion every time I'm going. Or the Bells and the Bow Tour. I'd be happy to answer any questions about that too, or painting in general. I am just doing the same technique over and over so you guys can watch. And by the end of this, I expect you all to be absolute experts. No, I'm kidding. You'll have to try and practice. And what I did to practice is, with like other things, when I don't know what I'm doing, I got a couple stencils. I got a couple of canvases. I got a couple pieces of just like 2x4s that I cut down. And I had no intention on using anything, selling them, nothing. They were just literally for practice. And I sat at my dining room table and I just practiced. And the first 3 ones were absolutely atrocious and awful. And it made me so angry because I was like, there's no way this should be that hard. I can do it. but I just kept at it. I feel like I probably called a couple people, I watched a couple videos, and I was like, you know what, today I'm gonna stencil, and that's just that. And I taught myself how to do it. But it was not the first one. It was not amazing the first second I tried. There's quite a few things in this industry that when I first tried them, they were not amazing. I think the idea that we're going to be perfect even every time. There's stuff that I do now that I've done 8 million times before and should be a walk in the park, and I go to do it on a particular day, and either I'm in a weird headspace or the piece is just not cooperating and it doesn't work out. And I have to redo it or revisit it or figure out why it didn't work. So you have to be kind to yourself. And I'm learning. And you have to pivot and decide to do things different if it's not going to work that way, right? Another trick is if you realize you have too much left on your brush, you can always go into like the plastic part that has nothing on it and get rid of some of your paint there too. I do that. I kind of start on the outside of the color.
So you're finishing the blending part on Grace?
Unless I, by some chance, can get it done in the next 15 minutes.
Okay.
We're gonna give her what we got to get it done in 15 minutes, at least this side of it. And if we can't, we'll just finish over there. But.
All right, so if you can't, I have a question for you to put out there for everybody. Because
Yeah.
normally, nobody's asked it yet, but I'm sure it'll come up at some point. So normally when you blend, you spray your piece directly with the water.
Yes.
You're using a stencil, therefore you really can't spray the water because it's going to spread.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you do?
So what am I going to do?
Yeah. Just so that it's put out there for everyone in case they're wondering.
My plan in my head right now is to just work quickly while the paint is wet.
Okay. Figured that would be helpful so nobody's actually spraying water on their stencil and ruining.
Yeah, don't do that.
You know what I mean?
No, don't do that. Stencils do not like Mr. Bottle. That's why less is more, because if it's too wet and there's too much, it'll underneath it, and then you're going to have like a blob. So, I need another plate, because this plate has gotten all messed up from that. And we're going to start to work our way towards apricot. So, I'm so messy with these, it's not even funny. You guys should have better jar care than I do. It's horrendous. Margaret's laughing behind the camera because she...
Can I just show them the side of the jar? Do you mind? Now they know why I'm laughing here. This is where we're at, guys. Right there. That's what we're looking at.
This is our life.
That's what I'm giggling at.
This is our life here. And it's not just when I'm live. I'm a messy painter.
But that's okay, because things work out.
They do.
Yeah.
Usually,
yeah.
right?
Everybody has their process.
All right.
Oh, Karen has a question. Do you have to wait for the stencil itself to dry before you use it again? How do you pick it up and move it without getting paint in the wrong places?
I'm not going to be able to pick it up and move it here. That I'm for sure going to have to do on Grace. But you just pick it up by both ends and off you go. So if we were going to move the whole thing, though, I would pick it up from these ends so that it's not dragging.
And then with the drying, you want to wait till it's dry, or at least until you put it down a second time?
Put it down a second time. You don't want to put it down a second time soaking wet. But normally, especially on a big stencil, by the time I'm ready to move it over there, over here is already dry. So it should work out. Alright, so I'm just plotting my course here. Okay. So I'm going to start here with this design with the apricot. And then, while it's wet, I have a smaller brush. Oh, sorry, that was pink champagne. And this is the apricot. But you know what? It's going to be tricky because it's apricot on apricot. So we might not be able to...
You might have to switch it up to flamingo.
No, you know what we can do? I got an idea.
Or the rosé.
No. We can mix the two colors on a plate and use that for our transition line. So I'm going to take apricot. And we're going to take pink champagne in a smidge. And I'm going to take...
She said chip brush. Oh, too much will get on there.
Yeah, I'm just going to... I'm going to borrow the end of this brush. And I'm going to mix them to be the lighter in-between color. Because, like Margaret thought, since I can't spray water, I can't pull the colors into two. So we're just going to pre-mix them into more of a blend of the color that we want. I think I want it a tiny bit lighter than that. Nope, look, there's a mess again. That's how I roll. This will work. So now, this is kind of in between those two. So for this smidge of section, I'm going to stencil with that new color. Because this will show up. And then to get a more blended line, now that we have that there, I will go back with my soft pink and kind of work on top of it. So when we pull this up, these two colors should come out a little bit more blended than just a solid line. Let me put this over here so I know it goes with that color. This is our new color. So Dixie Belle paints are amazing because they are water-based, so they can all be mixed together to create new colors on the fly like we just did. Because we saw that our original plan wasn't going to work the way we wanted to. So we just made a new plan. We've made several new plans in this past half an hour. And you can see how it's starting to already start to fade into that. I think this is going to end up super pretty. Our blending line doesn't have to be super perfect, but I'm trying to keep it in the vicinity of like halfway through this, more towards this bottom. Here's our new color, which is a half blend, maybe a little more than half of pink champagne in with our flamingo. Our apricot. So it's going to be just a shade lighter. That dog scared me, and I think I put too much paint in this one section. So when we picked this up, if this section is gooned up, it's because that stupid dog outside. He scared me. And our new color is going to show up a little bit brighter here because this drawer is pink champagne, which I think is going to be awesome. So I'm going to go through half of this one with our new color and then start the really bright, full apricot down here. Why do I keep doing that? I know what colors I'm using today. I'm just getting myself all worked up and confused.
And what's the name again of the stencil?
This stencil is Royal Damask by Redesign with Prima. Okay. We have like 5 more minutes here on Dixie Belle. So if anyone has any questions while we're here, now is a super solid time. And then we'll pop over to Grace and just finish up. And that, if you guys follow us over there, that'll be great too, because then you'll know where to find us next week. To go in before these dry with some more pink champagne up here. By the end of the day, I'm gonna have the biggest muscles ever. Who says we need to go to the gym? We create furniture. We don't need no stinking gym. That's what I say, because I'm like my only friend who doesn't go to my friend's gym. So they harass me all the time. All my friends hang out there, and they all have all sorts of fun, and I don't go. I boycott it. All right.
Oh, Pam says it looks amazing.
Thank you, Pam. All right, so we're gonna scunch over to Grace now. It's Grace on Broadway. I'm gonna say I appreciate everyone watching so far, and if you join me over there, we can keep going. If not, and you've already watched me for 35 minutes and had your fill for the day, trust me, I totally understand. It'll be on the replay on my page for a while, and I'll share it around. But I would like to get this finished with you guys today.
Oh, Dixie Belle says thanks for doing this beautiful stencil with us.
Thanks for having me, Dixie Belle. I'll see you guys in 2 seconds. So,
Amy Quick would like to know if you're doing the mixed colors first.
Yeah, so this was pink champagne. This is a mix of pink champagne with apricot. And right now we're blending those lines together. And then we're going to go to apricot. But I just moved the drawer.
And then also the name of the brushes. Which brushes are those?
These are also... Here.
If you can see that. There we go. It's a dabbing brush set. Okay.
I'm leaning on this, which is a horrible habit, and I have shifted it twice. So I just want you guys to not learn from doing that. This is a horrible habit, but my knees were getting tired, so I leaned forward. Okay. I will see you guys in 2 seconds over at Grace.
Oh, I did something.
What'd you do?
You've got like a conversation.